Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legends of Arcadia. We have a back-to-back session this week. How exciting is that? And everyone is able to make it. We have had plenty of time to sit back and chat and enjoy our days and whatnot. And so today, I'm going to jump us just right into the game start. And instead of a recap, I want to do something a little bit different today. As we begin this session, the five of you are being led deeper into the woods by this talking, strange ape man, led by the hand deeper and deeper. What is the thing that is on your character's mind? Tell us as you are being led deeper into the woods, instead of a recap, what is it that is deeply and most present in your thoughts? And I'm going to start us, of course, with the Grandmaster of Quick Wit, Coidbill.
God damn it, Greg. That's so much pressure. All right. We just talked with this dryad, and there's the weird bear guy who's following us. He's not really a bear, but the weird monster guy that's following us around. And Coidbill's lure spell did not work. Dryad passed her saving throw with flying colors. And so really what he's thinking right now is that was the most embarrassing thing that's happened to me in a long time. I tried to make myself presentable for this really interesting interaction, for this strange fey creature that I thought this might work out with. And instead I just made everything really uncomfortable and awkward. And isn't that just the story of my life? Trying to do something cool and it's just uncomfortable and awkward. Why the hell am I even out with these people? God damn it. I've just made a fool of myself. I should just go back to town. No, can't fucking go back to... Gotta see this through, but then I'm gonna go hide from all these people so they can never look at me and see the shame on my face again.
All right. You feel a deep and immense shame from your failure as a magician.
Embarrassment
as you are led
shame.
deeper into the woods. Yep. All right. Nomon, what is present in your thoughts as you're being led deeper into these dark woods?
Well, listen, what you got to understand about Nomon is everyone loves him, okay? He's funny, he's small, he's cute, makes good jokes, tells good stories. Everyone he meets, he likes. Everyone he meets likes him, okay? Now, this monkey guy, he turns up. First thing he does is try and kill me, eat my face, okay? Now, my friends, my good friends, whose lives I've fought side by side, we've risked our lives to save each other. They turn around and they just like the guy. They like this monkey. He tried to kill me. They don't care. Oh, yeah, we'll just follow him. Sure, he seems trustworthy, right? What would he ever do? He couldn't possibly do anything against us. So I think I'm obviously I'm always falling behind, aren't I? As we're marching through the forest. So I'm trying to catch up with the parties they're walking. I'm watching everyone sort of laughing and joking with Gergie. They're all following him deeper into these terrifying, scary woods that are getting darker and darker each step we take. And I think I'm just sort of flabbergasted by why everyone's trusting this person. And the idea of unicorns and bitey women doesn't sound good either. But unfortunately, it's too dark and it's too far to head back to the river on my own. So I haven't got much choice but to carry on after them.
All right. Plots of, lost friends whip through your head as you are led deeper into the woods. Yeah. Excellent. Hugo, tell me, as you're being led here far away from your own town into these woods, what is that plays on your mind?
Hugo is, I think, in a bit more of a practical state of thought where he's thinking about, because we're getting closer and closer to the unicorn, and people have he recalls people saying that the unicorn, if we befriend it, will give up its horn willingly. But now he's kind of stuck thinking on that because he always assumed that a horn was part of the unicorn's body. He's wondering if we're gonna have to cut it off afterwards, and he's checking his backpack to make sure he still has a knife on him, and he's making sure that it's still sharp. But he's wondering if the unicorn's gonna be okay if he pulls out a knife after they've just met it. I think he's kind of going through trying to figure out exactly how they're going to retrieve this unicorn horn.
Okay. Practical as always, Hugo, unfazed by the events of the last few days, and is determining the best route to cut off maybe a unicorn horn. Very interesting. All right. Rook, as you are led deeper into the woods, your dog's alongside you. What is it that plays upon your mind?
Gods, this elf is heavy. Bridle carrying before him is the corpse of this elf, the soggy corpse that he dredged out of this river. And Rook is trying to stay focused, stay alert, but like when you're doing something strenuous, it's hard to think about anything else. And so his arms are strained, and he's used to being, the leader of the pack, zipping around, scouting ahead. But here he is, tired and trudging along beside Nomon. Remus the dog, it won't stop licking or chewing on the elf's foot, so he's shooing that one away. But the other ones are sort of zipping around ahead. And here we are in unfamiliar woods, forbidden woods, elven territory now. Rook feels like he should be on alert, looking guard, but he's tired, and all they can do is put one foot in front of the other.
Weariness plagues you as you slog your way deeper and deeper into the woods. Excellent. Last but certainly not least, Ren, as you're being led along deeper into these dark and maybe for you more familiar than for the other woods, what plays upon your mind?
I think currently Ren is still a little bit saddened by the fact that they're carrying the corpse of an elf around with them. She's maybe more familiar with these woods, but she's left them a long time ago out of a mixture of she did not really belong here in the first place, since she's only half elf and not a full elf, and it's a little bit, she always felt a little bit like an outsider living with the elves, and she tried to find her own path, but now her own path leads her back to this forest anyways, no matter what. And it is also a very dangerous place to be. So she feels responsible for the group and for them trudging through here. And it's been a few dangerous days that they have behind themselves. And I think she wants to make sure everybody stays safe and on track of things. But she's also worried about coming home in a way. She's looking forward to it, but she's also a little bit weird about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. The worries of a awkward reunion play in your head as you are led deeper into the woods. Excellent. And so the five of you march on this day, deep into these kind of unfamiliar woods, following the creature Gurgi as it leads you along. As you go, eventually, the bird song and small critters kind of fall away from the woods. Before you realize it, you are just the five of you alone. You're the only sounds are the crunching of your own souls upon the foliage of the, forest around you. The deep darkness underneath the canopy of the trees extends beyond. And out of the silence, you see five figures emerge from the forest around you. They are thin and pale. Their forms are smaller than probably each of you as they step out, seemingly from the forest itself, melding out of the foliage and the trees. Four of them with bows drawn and nocked, pointed in your direction. A fifth with a gleaming sword at his belt. They step forward silently and kind of surround you from all directions. Gurgi stops with a small squeak of surprise.
When you say they have bows like drawn, do they have them like just knocked
drawn
and rested, or are they like drawn and ready to fire?
Drawn and readied as they point.
All right, Hugo's gonna pull his shield. He doesn't draw like his weapon, but he's gonna pull his shield off his back and onto his arm and get it ready to start intercepting arrows for people in case that.
You say
becomes a necessity.
Surround.
Yes, there's five figures.
It's hard for five people to surround, especially a larger party. Are they? So there's
but
like
it is,
5 points of a pentagon.
It's like a
or
pentagon. Yeah,
okay.
It's like a pentagon around you.
So it's probably not even clear. There's five. I mean, there's five, but it's like there's one over there. One
As you look
me.
around, you have the moment to look behind you and turn around, and you see these five figures are indeed around you. The one with the sword steps forward. You can see underneath the greens and grays of his cloak a flexible scale armor that shimmers in pastels hidden underneath. He has the clear tint of the elven pale features and the long ears as he pulls back his hood. He looks at the five of you and says in the interesting take on common, "First, the beasts of the forest are poisoned and crazed. Now, children of Malchus are led by the piteous one beyond their borders, Thirdborn. What cause have you to trespass our lands?"
I guess Ren was kind of worried about an interaction with the patrols around here because they, in general, are a little less friendly than the people you actually know, right? They're the first people to turn people away. So she raises her hands and she says, "Navedui, my govanen," which is like a greeting, right? Which means, "Oh, finally, nice seeing you again." And she bows deeply and she says, "We come to return one of the brethren that we found."
Yeah.
The elf cocks his eyes towards you, and you see a bit of recognition in his face, but he immediately says in a kind of sharp tone, "Just because you wear our features and learned our language does not make you firstborn."
This is all uncommon.
Yes.
So by now Rook is caught up to the front of the party. I think he was in his head, he was prepared to be the first and present this present their cousin as a truce peace offering, but he was lagging at the back of the pack. So he huffs his way forward and kneels beside Ren and lays the wrapped and soggy package in front of him. How far ahead is the lead elf? Is he
he has stepped forward closer to you. They emerged out of the woods some 50, 60 feet away with their bows drawn. They've stepped a little bit closer to make sure that line of sights have happened, but the lead with the blade has walked forward to a comfortable speaking distance with you.
Yeah. Forgive our trespass, but we return one of your own, or one of your cousins that was flushed down our border river. We dredged her from the river, from our border.
He looks to the two of you, says, "I would wish to believe you, but we know the children of Malchus to be dishonest. It runs through their veins. The stories are still fresh. So recently, the eyes of our diplomats were plucked from their heads, some hundreds of miles to the west."
I have the uncontrollable urge to look at Hugo for some reason.
Yeah. So
okay, so
Rook, he was kneeling and trying to be deferent and place this body, and then he looks up and glares at this elf and stands and says, "How dare you question my honor? I have patrolled the border of our woods for more than a decade, and never have I trespassed or hunted on your grounds."
Yet here you are. The days the beasts run wild, strange craze takes our forest up. Land is poisoned, and here are the children of chaos, trespassing with this one. He points towards the gurgy creature in front of you.
Ren will quietly say, "Then take us with you, and we will answer the questions that you have, because I'm sure you have many of them. And you can judge for yourselves how good the answers are."
Let us inspect our fallen brethren here. Perhaps his body will tell us the truth of your words. Washed up upon the shore, you say?
Did we ever resolve if any of his possessions fell loose in the...
Oh shit, yeah.
Right.
Do you want to retroactively roll a pickpockets check to see if Nomon has the dagger or anything?
Would you have had the because we got kind of ambushed, right? Would you have had the foresight to...
But it's been at least a half day, right? And I have been distractedly trudging beside Nomon for hours.
That's true, yeah.
Nomon,
I think you should roll.
You had an opportunity to pickpocket this dagger?
Oh, I think so. Let me make a dex check to see about the opportunity. Okay.
Oh my god.
Maybe
So-
roll twice. Roll 2 pickpocket checks.
Got it.
All right. I believe that you have
There-
successfully pulled back the cloak as Rook was distractedly trudging along in his weariness and managed to finger his dagger away.
I think it was when the dog was coming up and licking the elf's foot, and I was like shooing him away,
Yeah, you're
and
shooting
the
off
cloak
the dog.
falls loose, and Nomon just got a perfect view of that dagger at the waist, and he just discreetly unsheathed it before I had a chance to wrap the body back up.
Okay, yeah.
Was there? So there was the cloak, the dagger, and a third item. Am I
A
mistaken?
bag of gems.
Oh, a bag of gemstones.
Yes.
Did you want to roll a second pickpockets check with that 20 dex, Nick?
No, I'll just
You-
take
you
the.
wouldn't-
I'll just take the dagger. That's fine.
Okay.
I feel like it's
Alright.
more reasonable that the dagger's fallen away than
Mhm.
the gems on the dagger have fallen
Yeah.
The
away.
dagger is cold to the touch as you pick it up and you finger the steel itself for the first time. Please make me a saving throw versus spell, please.
Okay. Easy.
Perfect. That is good information to have. And so, the body is revealed in front of the elf in front of you. The elf pulls back the cloak and looks for a moment at the desiccated remains in front of him before he notices the pouch with the colored stones kind of half open and spill out a little bit in front of him on the cloak. And as he sees this, you see the elf in front of you noticeably recoil away, giving a sign of warding in front of him. The elf looks at you and looks at the jewels, and he says, This is the thief. How did you find him?
As I said, and as you see in the river, its death was not our doing.
It is
Rook
too bad
will,
it's not your own
give-
doing.
Rook will give the bag of gemstones a kick, I guess, to look at what spills out.
They
These
are
were-
multicolored stones. Some of them are of gemstones that you would recognize as gemstones, but many of them are like polished river stone to a perfect gleam, or small pearls and other kind of shiny stones. They have value to well to be gold. You could sell this for quite a hefty sum back at town. But the elf himself, as you kick it, kind of steps back. And he says that he will have no part of the thief's body.
Well,
Were these-
What did he
these were-
steal?
These were stolen from you?
He looks to Ren for a moment, flicks his eyes around. He says, yes. He was to take the tribute agreed upon to tribute is a strong word, the gifts agreed upon to the rainbow feathered serpent. It's customary for an old deed done well, but Athuel instead absconded with the treasure, causing strife between our kind and the serpent.
What sort of multi-feathered serpent creature do you speak of?
A feathered serpent, wings of rainbow color, powerful in the ways of magic. It returned to us a prince who was caught in the dealings of a black-hearted fae some 150 plus years ago. We have been gifting the creature as thanks.
Have I heard of this serpent before? Was it already around when I was still living there?
Yes, you would have known of a tradition to, gift the creatures of the Fae that have provided assistance to the land of elves in some great way. This is one of them. This particular serpent enjoys shiny colored stones. They're a favorite of his.
Y'all just can't say no to another quest.
wait, are we
Um,
talking about a dragon here, though? Like, I assume I also know about it. Greg, or is it more of a snake?
I think anything in the elves, any elf would know. Sure. How do you know about the tail of the feathered serpent?
Well, I mean, I'm from the city, so it sounds like maybe it's just nothing I'm directly involved in. Maybe just a tale that you hear that these things live in the woods, ensnares the minds of travelers, perhaps, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It sounds vaguely dragon to you. A feathered serpent. So what else could that be? Powerful.
I mean, like we're talking
magic?
about it. It's meant to be huge. Like it's not a. Because there's a monster in the monster manual. It's like a little snake with rainbow wings that flies. No. So I was wondering if you meant that, but we were talking like a large serpent.
The elf kind of narrows his eyes at you, and he says, "No bigger than a man."
So, Rook confirms.
Are you sure this man absconded with your tribute and wasn't simply led astray in the woods and killed?
Either way. The elf kind of stops for a moment, considering, then shakes his head. Either way, what is done is done.
So, Rook confirms. So you do not want this body? You wish?
No, the traitor's body we do not want.
Rook snorts like a dog and regrets carrying it all this way, but then takes a knee and unlaces his cloak and then draws a knife, not in a threatening way, as like a tool. Quickly cuts off the belt pouch and tosses it to Ren, and then sticks it in the top of the guy's shirt and quickly strips him of his clothes. And puts a hand on the elf's chest. The rest, I mean, this is taking the course of a minute or so.
Yeah.
And says, "From the soil born to the soil returns. Let the beasts of this wood recycle this life." And he stands back up with the folded cloak under his arm and the gems given over to Ren. And I think Neal was trying to do something.
Nope.
But
I'm just chilling.
he messaged in Roll20.
He's just examining shadows of the forest floor.
I am
All right.
preparing
I
to
wasn't
cast
sure.
spells, and I want to already be established that I'm ready for my spells, whatever the opportunity is.
All right, absolutely.
I think still kneeling down, Ren, like she holds up the bag of gems, like with one hand, and saying, "Here's the tribute that was taken."
The elf wards it away.
Ren, what are you doing?
No,
That's
we cannot accept the traitor touchstones.
Don't worry, Lord Elf. We'll take it.
They will not be able to taint our own anymore.
What if we take them to the serpent?
You may do with them as you please, assuming that you are allowed to leave the spot.
Of course.
Rook gives a smirk. We seek the unicorn. Matrigal, in a vision, told us that this creature had the power to lift the curse that you say plagues the beasts of these woods, the source of which is a cult of Ponos in the plains to the south. If we bring this creature's boon to the cultists, we are told that, we hope that may purge this pestilence on the land. Would you point us the way to the unicorn? And
the elf considers your
travel through
words
your
for a
lands?
moment, and he speaks slowly and cautiously, as if choosing his words very carefully. He essentially says, "Nothing of which you speak lies in the fragment of Aster's great pattern. This concerns me tremendously. I think that we must determine the veracity of your words. We need to speak with the great tree. I will assume leniency towards your known want of deceit, born these past hundreds of years. Come, children of Malchus, follow me. And he makes a nod towards his companions. They put their bows away, but they walk up next to you as if in a lockstep, and go to guide you through the woods as the lead elf turns his back and begins striding away.
Sure, sounds
The
like
five of you wish to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, very slowly. I'm also going to, as we start walking, I'm gonna very slowly start linking arms with Rook. Because I'm slightly worried that his pride might get the better of him while we're walking with the elves, you know? So she's not saying anything because she doesn't want people to know.
Maybe lack of social graces. That's when I rolled that charisma check. I was like, can I keep my manners about me, or are these elves just pissing me off too much?
Exactly. So she like links arms and she like gently put one hand on his upper arm, you know, just like as a reassuring, calming motion as we're walking.
There's a whimper from the dogs as one of them like sniffs an elf and finds its scent distasteful, and it comes scurrying back closer to Rook.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. You follow for some brief time, and you quickly find yourselves in a changed woods. It seems that you have stepped between the woods that you know and into at least some partial amount of the Feywild. The once dark and deep greens of the forest that held shadows deep and thick becomes vibrant. The greens bright and pop. The vegetation oversized, bright and colorful. What before was fairly silent woods with the occasional bird song and the scraping by of animals rushing through the brush becomes almost a cacophony of bird song and the chittering and tittering of the small pixies through the woods. And just other like kind of pan flutes and poetry being read. Eventually, you are led to a place that looks something a little bit more like this. As the party has been guided to the edge of a great glen in the woods. Yes.
Can I ask? I have direction sense. Is that totally bewildered by the Feywild? Can I tell where we're going, or do I feel
think
like
that your direction sense is a little befuddled. You walk forward and you're quite certain about where you're going and what you're doing for, a half mile or so, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute.
The lighting's all wrong.
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
sun just like flips sides of the sky.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's all. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. No. Perfect.
Narrating.
And you get to this large glen. Everything about it is twice as much strange to you as it was the moment before you stepped into this area. The vibrancy of the vegetation, the bright colors, and brilliance of it. It's all greens. It all looks like forest, but it's just brilliant compared to where you were before. And you see that this is the Elven camp. It is centered around this ancient tree right in the center, as big as as anything you have ever seen in the forest, standing higher, taller, and thicker than all of the surrounding vegetation. Next to it, there is a fountain, seemingly grown from the stone itself, where fresh, clear water splashes continuously up and out into a stone pool, around which there are elven crates of breads and sweet, enormous, ripe fruits and vegetables, just fresh and waiting to be picked. Underneath the canopy of all the trees here, you can see the homes and buildings and living quarters of the elves grown into and out of the very woods itself. Small wooden bridges connect from one tree to another high above the ground floor of the forest itself. And upon the forest, you can see elves in their flowing robes of pastel colors, their pale complexions, kind of reflecting the vibrancy of the forest around them even more, as they are, kind of lost in their own doings. While many, work away at whatever things happening in their homes, the ones out here are engaging in, playful chatter with the surrounding fairies or animal life, working on their own painting or their singing, dancing, the form of the arts. You see a small kind of almost canvas-like tent to the far north of the camp that seems to stand out in stark contrast to everything else that you see around here as well. As you are led here, the elf in the front kind of stops you, and he says, "We will wait here for the night. You are guests, but you may not leave. We will have you stand trial before the great tree when it is time for it to awaken."
Doesn't sound like we're guests. Sounds like we're prisoners.
Trial? For what?
For the
Murdering
veracity
your
of your
friend?
claims.
Mm-hmm.
Told you we shouldn't have brought him here.
Where is Gurgi?
He's been brought along with you. I just don't have a Gurgi token,
Sure,
and
sure.
I forgot about him.
It's all your fault, Rook.
My fault. What?
Yeah, you and
Just,
Ren. You want to bring this stupid guy back to these elves? We should have known something like this was going to happen. They didn't even like him anyway.
We came here to
feel
find
like
the
the gnome is talking
unicorn.
the truth.
Thank you, Koibu.
Oh my god.
I think this would have
Just-
happened regardless of whether or not we brought the body.
Just stay calm. Okay, we're in the Elven woods. We are intruders to them, but they will treat us justly. So if we don't do anything, too quickly, it should be
You sure
fine.
about that, Ren? They didn't seem very polite to you when you first showed up.
What would happen if the tables were turned? He says, hopefully silently to the group. If these elves trespass into my woods, I would not have greeted them with bows drawn. We would not drag them to deep water for a trial.
Yeah, right.
Rook looks around.
You might not know the story, but plenty of years ago, humans have intruded into these woods, and they have done terrible things to elves.
I've had no part of any of them, and yet they hold it against me all the same.
Yeah, Red, why are you defending them? They clearly don't think of you as one of them. You're more like us than you are like them. Well, more like everyone else apart from me, I suppose.
I'm just as much as the humans as I am as you. You're just a smaller version of them in a way.
No one here calls you half-blood. The humans are nice. These elves.
No one of you
Racist.
calls me half-blood. There are plenty of people back in the city who look at me with weird eyes. It is okay. I've gotten used to it.
I hope you can talk us out of this.
Greg,
try my
while we're here, since we were
Yes.
led in,
Yes.
Hugo wants to think up the route that we took getting in here, and essentially concoct a fire safety plan in case he needs to extradite the group out of here.
Oh my god.
Suddenly, quickly.
You spend some time to look around. The five of you are left to freely wander. The head elf, whose name he was never given, heads off towards the great tree. These four that came with you stand at this kind of main entrance down here as if they are kind of the on-duty guard. As you wander through, you will find that most of the vegetation is so thick that there are only a few routes out. One being to the east up here, where two more of these elves sit in their kind of silent duty. But you can tell that they are different because they wear these gray and green cloaks that when they pull up their hoods give them a near kind of invisibility in the vegetation around them. And they have weapons. No other elf in this area you see has any weapons of any kind. The other exit will be over here to the west, where two more kind of sit in their patient watchfulness.
Do they have weapons? Sorry.
They do as well. They are identical in weaponry and in clothing to the ones that were out. The rest of them, though, seem to just be merrily going about their day in their kind of flowing robes and bright pastel colors and doing their things. Some in the like trees, kind of watch out of their windows as they are, crafting or painting or going about whatever it is their business is inside of their homes. You are given freedom to wander anywhere inside this camp, and you will find many a kind of pleasant and friendly face amongst those that do not wear the cloaks and the weapons.
So they're polite apart from the guards.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Many of them are very curious about you. You especially. Like, oh, look, a child of Seor. We see very few of them. And they're happy to introduce you to the fairies and sprites that are wandering through. Some of the fairies try to play little pranks on you. They turn your tongue blue.
Yeah.
And, maybe
I enjoy hanging out with the smaller fey creatures because it makes me feel like I'm the giant one, They're all small, really big and slow and powerful.
Yes.
Before people walk off exploring, I'm gonna go over to Nomon, and I'm gonna take his face into both of my hands, and I'm gonna look at him, and I'm gonna say, Nomon. I'm not going to kiss you, you silly gnome.
Oh my God. What do you want?
I'm just letting you know that all the decisions you make around here can have grave consequences.
Yes, okay.
I know that you have... Okay, I know you have fast hands, but your wit needs to be quicker this time.
Yeah, sure. I just worried about this tree. Never seen a tree stand in judgment before. You know how that works?
I've seen it from the outside. I've never been judged like that. Luckily, I never needed to be.
Listen, I've seen Rook chopping down so many trees.
Listen, I know that my mother has been judged a long time ago because of me, and she is still around. I hope she's still around right now. I don't see her anywhere, but I'll make sure she knows that I'm here.
I share your concerns, Nomon. All trees stand in judgment, and I have never taken more than I need. But this place, it's not right. These woods are beautiful, but all around us is the taint of magic. I don't know what the elves did to these plants, but to this forest, but it's not right. It's not natural.
They're magical creatures. It's natural to them. It's not that worries me. It's all of this talk of judgment and murder.
No one said murder.
Well, what does he mean? If he doesn't think we found the body, what else does he think we did?
Well,
right,
Hugo, I'm going to leave you in charge of these two worrying people. We'll have to go and find my mother, see if she's around anywhere.
All right.
Stay safe.
Ren goes off to find her mother. We will, of course, get to that, but I would love to know what the rest of you do. You have at least a day spent in waiting for the tree to determine the veracity of your words.
Rook is afraid to touch anything.
Yeah.
These woods feel wrong. He's like, and he doesn't want to talk to any of the elves. He's just like off on the side in the shadows. He's told his dogs to heal so they don't get into anything, but I think they also instinctively don't really want to, like, normally they'd be like, if this were like a human village, they'd be trying to like sneak some of the food or something. Mm-hmm. But no, Rook and the dogs are just conspicuously off to the side. Like he's trying to like blend in and act natural, but everyone sees him.
I think your own discomfort makes you particularly entertaining prey for like the pixies and sprites that are flying around. You get an uncomfortable amount of like sticky resin like spilled on your hands, and you sit on a few thorns, and you have sprites popping in and out, and just I think that they find you a fun target to pester throughout the day because of your obvious discomfort.
Yeah, I may chat with them and stuff, but we can get to that later if we need to.
Absolutely.
I'd like to hear what the rest of the party is doing.
Yeah, Hugo, what do you do?
I mean, I recognize the guards are like a pretty grim sort, but there's other people who are taking an interest in us, and I think I'll try and see if they have dice and encourage a few of them to do some dicing with them, a little bit of gambling.
Oh, fair.
And then these elves, like when I get ready to put up like a stake, do they put up any coins, or do they put up like their gemstones and polished river stones?
They don't put up material wealth at all, in fact. They are quite happy to play games with you, but they want to play for lines of poetry, for songs of your own make, crafting materials, and magic of any kind. They produce their own works as very valuable and show disdain for your coins when you present them.
All right. I do actually have a singing proficiency, so I'll offer up songs.
Excellent. Yes, they want to play you for songs.
I will not sing those songs live, Greg, just that you know.
I was ready.
He'll sing them off air in the break.
You quickly get a large number of elves. They are very happy to learn about the singing traditions of non-elves and what they are like and how they can be incorporated to make their own songs even better. And they are quite happy to dice with you in exchange for songs. They will give you one of their own for a loss, and they would expect many songs from you. And quickly, a large game of dice plays out on the stump of a large tree. Many elves join in to play against you. Koibu.
Yeah, I guess I'll learn some of the Elven songs. The songs he sings when he loses are primarily like soldiering songs. They tend to have like upbeat tunes with fairly like grim words.
Absolutely. I think there's whispers of how grim the Thirdborn are, what fleeting lives must do to them to turn them so dour. More so than even the Secondborn, but it is quite a spectacle. You draw many an elf to your dicing table. Koibu, what do you do with your time here in the Elven lands?
Once it looks like we're not immediately about to get ganked, I go up to the fountain and examine it for a little while, and then ask one of the nearby people if it's safe to drink. Assuming that it is, I will sample the water and try to make polite conversation about the nature of this place and figure out where we are. I'll mention something along the lines of our ranger Rook soon lost his sense of direction while we're here, and that's not something I've ever seen with him in all our many, many days of travel together.
The elves kind of titter along with you, laughing, and they say, "Oh, of course, the water is clean to drink. It is brilliant and clear, as if it came from a mountain spring itself. It's one of the freshest mouthfuls of water you've ever had." They will happily answer your question. They say, "Oh, well, you are partially into the Feywilds themselves. When we move from place to place and camp to camp along these woods, we bring a little bit of the Feywild with us. It is a good way to keep ourselves safe from whatever other strange things might be in the woods."
Examine the shadows. Are they still functioning fairly normally?
The shadows do function fairly normally, although they are deeper than you would expect, but not darker. They seem to be shallow, but will go on forever at the same time. It is a very confusing place in the shadows, but it's not like they aren't in existence.
Okay, I can dig this. I will try and get some of their food around here, and I will offer to trade my own rations in exchange, if that is what it takes.
They're
I'd
very
like
happy
to sample
to.
some food.
They're very happy to let you take anything from the barrels. It becomes very clear that this is all like communal food, just kind of set out for anyone. And
Elven
they are
communists.
interested in your rations, though. Like they would try them and sample them. And they seem to be very, very interested in new experiences and traditions. And they're like, salted meats. What is this? So odd, The bread is so hard and tacky. What? Like I could.
That's called hardtack.
Goodness, it could be a rock. But they're very interested in sharing with you, and they want to know how it's made and why you bring it. And is this a delicacy? Why do you eat such hard breads and strange cheeses?
Very happy to give them answers about traveling long distances and having poor methods for carrying things, so we need to reduce the weight of our food as much as possible. So baking the bread in this way makes it very light and easy to carry, if somewhat painful to eat. And I'll show them how you dip the hardtack in water for a little while and let it soak so it softens up, and then you can chew it a little bit more easily.
They're fascinated by this. They're fascinated by this.
My god.
Yeah. They try dipping their own bread in the water, and it dissolves. It's too light and airy for this to happen.
And I go no. It's not good if you dissolve it in the water. It doesn't. The bread doesn't get better. It just gets edible. It goes from
Excellent.
Useless to sustenance, but it's never. If you want it good, you dip it in your coffee or your, whatever.
So you spend much of your day
that is
delighting.
My grub score is now a 9. 1d20 plus 9. Elven food is fine. Probably very tomato based, and I'm not a big fan of tomatoes.
Very vegetarian. Breads, big ripe fruits, carrots.
Yeah. Tomatoes and eggplants, I just don't do,
Tomatoes,
so
eggplants.
Yeah, and I see a lot of mushrooms lying around. It's
lots of mushrooms.
This is not my jam. I'll make polite conversation. I will ask, the only important question I have for them is, how does being this close to the Feywild affect ordinary magic? Does it function more or less the same? Or is magic different between the two realms, and thus different in this space between realms?
You will eventually be able to piece together that magic functions very differently in the Feywild, as the entirety of the Feywild is made of magic. And so the spells cast there that you understand are coming, you can still shape them the way you want them, but they're coming from this whole area around you. Your control over them is immense. But here, much of the magic is baked into what you see around you. It isn't ambient and ready to be controlled. And so if you knew the right methods, if you knew the right ways, perhaps you could tap into the magics of the Feywilds. But you are assured that here, your simple understanding of the magics would suffice.
Then I will happily spend as much time as possible discussing magic with them, especially how they shape things from the Feywild. I want to use this as inspiration for new spells that I will be coming up with when I hit my next.
Absolutely. I think you will find
level,
eventually yourself led to kind of the magically inclined of the elves, and they will spend hours waxing poetically upon the nature of the arcane and opening your mind to it. And you will find yourselves in quite a hippy-dippy discussion of magic.
Excellent. Notably, I will not cast either of my 2 remaining spells. This is the same day that we met the druid chick, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I won't cast any of my spells, but I will discuss it. A lot of theory. I want to use this for Feywild-based spells going forward. I'll tell them about my interesting variation of the light spell that sort of causes life around you to bioluminesce and stay that way until hit by sunlight. See if that's of interest to them. And
they're very interested in custom spells. I think that they will. They hold new traditions, new ideas, and new magic in very high regard. If they can learn something new, they want to pull it out of you. And
well then,
we'll go about doing that.
If they will trade me some basic rations and some drinking water, I will write out my spell for them on whatever paper they provide.
They do not provide paper. They want you to teach it to them in its component form.
Ugh, that would take way too fucking long. Stupid elves. Don't you know we have
have
short
nothing
lifespans?
but time. What do you mean? We could spend years learning this. It's no problem.
Not if they execute us at sundown.
Oh, don't worry about that. It'll come. If it happens, it happens.
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm done.
What do you do with your time with the elves?
Well, I think he finds this whole thing quite fascinating. He wanders around. I think he He checks in what everyone else is doing. He probably doesn't find Ren. He probably comes and talks to Rook at the edge of the forest for a little bit and talks to the pixies and whatnot. But I'm imagining at some point he finds himself at the fountain, and I'm imagining him like reaching into one of these barrels that he can't see what's in there, pulling a piece of fruit out, like a massive peach or something.
Yeah.
And he's just wandering around, just eating this massive peach. I think maybe attracts the attention of some of the pixies and starts to follow them. And I can see him spending the rest of the day, maybe at some little stream somewhere, sitting on the rocks, hanging out with the pixies, taking a look at the dagger. Maybe the pixies can help work out what's going on. But I think I sort of show off to the smaller creatures, like, look what I've got. Hey, look at this! It's magic from an elf. I might like
Lucky are you?
Try and work out what it does.
You're fairly lucky, and most of the pixies don't seem to know much about it. But a particular sprite gets its attention caught by the flash of steel, and it comes over towards you, lands on your shoulder, looks for a moment silently, and then it cocks its like vibrant violet eyes up at you.
Impressive, isn't it?
It says in like broken common, like as if it's unused to speaking in this language, I don't know if you should be handling the traitor's blade.
Why not?
Are you
He's a traitor.
seeing things? Dreaming poorly?
Only jealous pixies.
I hear that this has a powerful curse laid upon it.
A curse?
I would be careful.
Oh no.
It is his blade, yes. Atwell?
It is. I felt something when I picked it up. Oh god. Is it a curse? What does it do?
I don't know. This is the first traitor's blade. I am certain of that. I see its markings. I would be careful.
I turn to the other pixie. Is this guy trustworthy? Is he lying?
The other pixie just kind of goes, flies off.
I think Noman then sits forlorn, looking at the dagger, maybe puts it on like a rock in front of him, not touching it anymore, sitting by the stream, considering it. But after a while, if the pixies get bored, I think he sheathes the dagger and walks back into the center of the town to just like hang out, probably with Rook on the edge of the town, or with Koibu if Koibu's having these conversations about magic, I might come and like sit in and listen.
Okay.
As a wizard, that's interesting.
Absolutely. Ren, you went to go find your mother. Tell me about your mother. Who do you find in the camp here amongst the elves?
Should I just do you want me to make her up entirely, or is there something you want to like
Tell me about her.
Preset before okay.
It's your character.
I think Ren's mother is quietly badass among the elves. She's the fighting type, so she's part of the guard around here, probably in some, has in some way a guarding duty. She is dual wielding scimitars, so she always has a weapons by her side. She's a very kind person, but she's also well respected among the elves. She has fallen a little bit out of grace back in the day when she got pregnant with Ren, because there are not many half-elves around. I think Ren was probably the only half-elven child when she was small and when she was around here. And I guess it's a little bit the stellar guardian that has fallen from grace in some people's eyes, right? Other people were still friendly with Ren and her mother. I think as Ren has grown older, her mother has grown a little bit more distant towards her, because at some point the realization kicks in that, your child doesn't live as long as you do. And, whenever Ren figured out that how different she was and what all that meant for her and, for this place, I think they've started to grow a little bit apart, not in the sense that they didn't like each other anymore, but Ren is very respectful towards her mother. And they do love each other dearly, but they don't express it as much, you know, in words or in hugs or something like that. So even though they love each other, there's like a certain distance created that has just happened over time between them, I guess, which has also led Ren to, you know, leave this place behind. But like, you can tell by the fact that that's the first person Ren wants to see, that they're, in her heart, they're still very close.
Absolutely. I think what ends up happening is, instead of finding your mother directly, you kind of ask amongst the guards for her. What is your mother's name by happenstance?
It's Lothwin.
Lothwin.
Yeah.
All right. You ask around for Lothwin, and I believe you are just taken to like what would be the kind of home in the trees. Where the rangers like have their way. There's kind of a elven request for entry, and the elf kind of asks for, you know, a presence with the second ranger. And sure enough, the second ranger comes out, and there before you stands Lothwin, who eyes you for a moment, and a brief smile crosses her face before once again flashing kind of solemn, bids the other guard away, and then speaks to you and says, "Oh, welcome, daughter. It is a pleasant surprise. What brings you here?"
Ren takes another, like, she takes a step forward, and then she doesn't go in for the hug. Instead, she does like a small bow, and she says, on Ontarie, Gelonet Iken Ikent Li Inet Ileli, which means mother in like a very respectful way. It means mother, I delight to see your eyes shine when you laugh, which is the most respectful way you can express your, I guess, your love and respect for somebody, right? And she says, me and my friends have traveled from the town back here. I know that it doesn't mean much to everybody here that I am the ambassador in the city, but there's some, I don't know what it is, but there's some foul magic going on that befalls the city as well as the woods. And we have tracked it back to the plains, and now we're on our way back into the forest. And we came across a corpse of an elf. They call him the traitor. And, well, we were brought in for questioning and for trial before the Great Tree. I guess people still do not look very favorably upon me here.
Your mother smiles a little bit at your words and returns your kind of formal greeting of love and respect. And she says, yes, since I have been returned to Second Ranger, Balfindir takes a more tense approach to the Thirdborn. The First Ranger is not quick to trust, but I am certain your words will be seen to be true. Tell me, foul magics, I have heard that the beasts crazed in our woods. This is not part of what I've foreseen. What do you know of it?
It is difficult to tell. We believe that it is part of some cult of Ponos. We've seen the spiral, and we've seen the taint on the animals, and we've met some sort of, I don't know if it was a wizard, but he seemed to be able to conjure some sort of red mist up that would eat up the animals, and that would come to consume everything around it. And whenever the animals were touched by that craze, there was no way of getting through to them. There was no healing. There was nothing I could do about it.
I have had much the same troubles. It seems that I was unable to save those that I came across as well. Well, rest up. We shall give you to your full strength. I will see what aid I can give to you. What could help you in your quest, daughter?
Maybe. I think I will be fine, but if one of my friends makes a rash comment, maybe you could raise your voice and help me calm the others, because they don't tend to believe me. I know they are good people, and I know the first ranger, even though he pretends to not know me, has seen me as a small child, and I'm sure there's some spot in his soul, that is soft for when he sees my face. So I don't want you to risk anything, Mother, but, if you could try to calm them a little bit, and just so they just hear us out, that would mean a lot.
I will have a word with them. Please make yourself at home. It is good to see you. We have much to catch up on. My place is yours, as you need it. And with that, I think she makes her way over to Balfinder to have a quick word, leaving you to your own devices. Noman, you are wandering back to camp from your river. It passes you awful close to this strange tent-like canvas up into the north. As you do so, you hear voices kind of coming from it as you walk by. You look around, you see the elves are not particularly nearby to you. They're standing in the distance doing their guarding thing, or speaking with the strange new people about their poetry or whatever. And you hear a soft kind of voice, hey, small one. Hey,
me?
Come here.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Sounds like a goat man, but I'm too curious. I head over to him cautiously. Right. I have the stone of my peach in my hand, ready to throw at him if anything goes wrong.
Absolutely. The stone and the peach in your hand, you approach the canvas. You find that this is not in fact canvas, but a mesh of vines grown so closely tight knit together that they give the appearance of canvas. There's kind of small tent. You peer inside and you see 3 satyrs, the half goat men, big pot bellies bulging over their furry, red furred goat legs, their curly hair broken by small horns jutting up out of their heads. They are bound by the kind of magical vines at the center of this, and it looks to you and says, hey, I recognize your glint in your eyes.
Hey, what's up?
Get us out of here, man. I promise you, riches, magics, we can give them to you, man. Just get us out of here.
If I let you out, I'm going to end up like you. I'm on trial tomorrow. Can't risk this.
Oh, come on, man.
How long have you been here?
Don't be a bummer, man.
How long have you been here?
This is probably a few weeks. Waiting to stand some trial.
All right, well, after my trial tomorrow, if they let me go, maybe then I can do something, but not until then.
Oh, come on, man. You can do it. I know you. I've seen that glint in your eye.
What did you do?
Oh, played some music they didn't like.
No, come on. That doesn't sound right to me.
You ever heard a satyr play music? You didn't like it. You wouldn't want it either. But you'd love it. I promise.
That's a good voice crack. Well, you said magic. What magic? What's in it for old Noman here?
Well, there was this elf lady. She got banished. Too pretty. Had a confrontation with the goddess. I don't know, Chiss or something. She's got a fan. It's magic. Also, I'll give you one of our pipes. The kind you play music, not the kind you smoke.
Can I see one?
He kind of shrugs a little bit, bound. Just, I don't have it on me.
Where is it?
Kind of points with his horned head towards the back of the tent. They hold it in the case back there.
I go and wander over to the case back there.
All right.
Over here?
You wander past the goat people. They're bound and watching you with kind of unblinking eyes. As you make your way to the back, you see a small kind of wooden case open in the back. There are multiple pan flutes just kind of laid in there amongst.
It's not even locked. It's just open, waiting.
It's just open, just open air. Yeah, no seal, no nothing. There are some small valuables of the satyrs packed along as well. Some casks or not casks, but I don't know. It's like a decanter almost of a kind of rich violet-looking wine, and there are 4 of them kind of packed in this case, along with the pan flutes of these satyrs, some clothes, some flowers that you can't identify, as well as a beautifully gorgeous fan. It looks like one of those kind of hand fans with wood on either side, and the lilies are elegantly painted upon each side of the wood, and it seems just immediately to your thiefy eyes of immense value.
Yeah, but I mean, Nomon's not an idiot. He is intelligent. I feel like it's far too risky to steal that fan. How many of these satyr horns are we talking about? Is there a few of them?
There are 3. There are 3 flutes in there.
One per
for
satyr.
each satyr. Yeah.
It's true. I shout back. You know, all this stuff's just open. I could just take it, right? You said the fan, it's right here.
Fan's there. I can give you a better pipe, man. I know where the good one is. You can use it even. Blow it. Pick one of them up. Give it a good blow.
I do it. I pick one up
No,
and give it a blow.
no.
All right.
Wait, what's it do?
The sound that comes out is nothing, right? Like you blow through it and you're unable to produce good music out of it. It's like a low whistle. It's kind of screechy. It's not very particularly powerful. And the satyr kind of bobs his head and says, "Hey,
This sucks.
Yeah, it's great for a satyr, not so much for you.
Why would I want this?
You don't, but you want the one I have buried, man. The good pipe. It's magic. You can play it. You can use it.
What does it do?
It pains your enemies. You ever heard of tinnitus? It's awful, man.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand. I say, like, rubbing my ears. Listen, what did you say your name was?
I didn't.
Yeah, I know. What's your name?
The creature responds to you after checking his name badge. Says, "I'm Staff. This is Haza. This is Moko."
All right, guys. Well, listen. I don't know if I can do this. You know, with the trial coming up and all that. Oh, geez, I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, but come on.
Maybe I said maybe tomorrow if it goes well. I'll sneak back here. I mean, these elves, you know, they must have locked you up for a reason. But then again, they are. See, that's the thing. If they let me off,
man, they're dicks. You're gonna let these elves tell you what to do? Come on, man.
I panic. I throw the peach stone at him and run out of the tent.
All right.
Are you gonna bring this story up to the rest of the party at any point? Because if so, I'm absolutely championing the cause of freeing those satyrs after the trial.
Oh yeah, well I might mention it then. I mean, if you want to get on board with that, I feel like I'd be easily convinced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so I'll head back. I think I like run from the weird vine tent a little bit panicked and maybe like run into Hugo as I'm running away from it. Hugo. Some weird goats in there. They're captured.
Goats?
Yeah, look. I point through I move like a tray out of the way so he can see.
Peer into the tent.
They said the elves captured them for playing music. Offered me some magic pipes and a fan from Cheese if we freed him. But the trial coming up and everything, I don't know.
Well, Noman, I've been spending most of the day learning quite a bit about the elves while I concoct my fire safety plan in case we have to take a swift exit from this place. And maybe we can work it all to our advantage, find a way to sneak these goats out.
Well, I think it's enough. Just cut the vines; they can run out on their own. I'm just worried that if we do that now and the elves find out, the tree's going to judge us harshly.
No. That's a good point. You're pretty light on your feet, right? I'm absolutely not, and I kind of jingle in my armor.
A legendary thief, Hugo. You know that. Everyone knows that.
You could always come back here tomorrow.
I suppose I could. Well, you think it's a good idea?
I mean, if you spend the rest of the day standing behind somebody else, they might just forget that you're with us, and then you could slink off for the trial, and nobody would be any the wiser.
To be honest, I do feel like they haven't noticed me because they said children of Malchus, but I'm not a human. And then when that guy was leading us through the forest, they didn't slow down. I had to run really fast to keep up. I think maybe you're right. Maybe they don't know I'm here.
I bet you could do this.
Well, maybe we should
think
ask...
about it. A gnome playing music, that could only go good places.
Maybe we should ask Rook and Ren, see if they think it's a good idea.
It's not.
No. I think we should keep this one close to the chest for now.
Don't do it, Noman.
You're not here, Koibu.
I know, this is Neal telling you.
You have no power here, Neal.
I think if you need to tell Koibu if you need to tell Koibu and run it by him, that's something. But I worry Rook and Ren might be a little too oh, it feels weird saying this as a town guard. They might be a little too straight edge to do this themselves.
Right. Yeah. And who do these elves think they are? Who do these elves think they are anyway, bringing us here?
No, I just, you can't trust anyone that lives that long.
Okay. Yeah. I live quite long as well, right?
I was about to say, I think
you're not like,
yeah, he
elves live to like thousands of years old. Like,
I mean, you're also a thief. How long can you possibly get away with this shit, right?
Especially when I'm this easily convinced of bad ideas. All right, let's go find Koibu. Where is he?
All right.
Oh, I saw him. He's over there. He's talking to them. Let's go and wait. I think we or trying to be inconspicuous, stand near the edge of the trees, just outside the circle where Koibu's having these conversations.
I'm filing my nails with my dagger, my smooth dagger that absolutely cannot file nails.
Koibu.
I will make polite excuses and hop up to see what these guys are doing. What's
Come
up?
over here. And I lead you into the forest pass. Wait, well, look. We have to show you. They captured these weird goat men. They said they've got magic if we release them. Look.
Dude.
No, Koibu, wait,
No. Hold on. Whatever you're saying might have a lot of validity to it. But do you know how many things we're juggling right now? I can't even keep track of all the shit we're doing. You really want to add on another task? I mean, look, there's that weird cult in that earthen area over there. There's this fucking unicorn we're supposed to be going after. There's the whole medallion thing. These fucking goatmen. I don't know if I got the attention span to be dragged in another direction. I can barely keep my shit straight as it is.
All those other things are all the way over there, whereas those goatmen are right over here.
It's right here.
They're close.
No, they're right here for right now. But as soon as we free them, it's going to be take them to their home, take them to this safe place, and it's just going to be another fucking chain of endless side quests.
Did they add that to the deal at all, Noman? Did they say that we had to escort them anywhere?
Well, he said that the stuff they were going to give us, it's right back there. We could just take it now. The elves would notice. But he said he had a magic flute.
You don't want to walk into an elven city and start taking shit, bro.
I know, yeah, that's what I thought, but Hugo said it was a good idea.
So we can free the goatmen and they can take the stuff and then they can give us their stuff.
And then we're guilty by association. You guys are so greedy and so ADD. Get your shit together. Sorry, that might be a little harsh.
Maybe he's right, Hugo.
Think about
I'm sorry.
Think about it. Think about it, Koivu. Like, we have precious few friends in this force. The ranger and the druid are taking them all. We could certainly use some alliances out here.
Wait, are you saying that the friends of Rook and...
I'm saying I want my spotlight, damn it.
All right, look. You want to free some goatmen? Why don't we wait until we're just about to leave this place?
Yeah. That's what we thought as well.
Okay,
I lean him in really close and we go into a huddle. I'm like, so my plan was Nomon could spend the rest of the day just standing behind other people so that his small stature sort of hides him from view, and then the elves forget about him by tomorrow. And while we're going through our trial, Nomon can sneak back over and free
That's
the
only
goatmen.
going to work if he can keep his mouth shut.
Nomon, can you keep your mouth shut?
Yeah, I didn't say anything to that elf when he ambushed us in the woods.
There you go. He says he can keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
He says he can keep his mouth shut.
I think it'll be fine. I mean, of course he can.
All right, let's check in after this whole trial thing. All right, we'll keep this iron in the fire, but like let's leave it in a quantum state of uncertainty, so that way, like if shit doesn't go the way we want it to go, we can not all die to really. I hear these elves are like really great fighters, and we probably shouldn't try and fuck with them. So.
No, they are absolutely. If my fire safety plan does not involve killing elves, it involves running from elves.
Do you have a fire safety plan?
I always have fire safety plans. I'm constantly thinking up new fire safety plans.
I'm worried that it might include fire.
To be clear, this fire safety plan does not involve starting a fire.
Sometimes it does, not always.
Gotcha. Everyone needs a fire break every now and then. Okay. They're talking about weird shadowy shit. I think I got an idea for a new spell. I gotta go back and deal with this stuff over by the... Just don't...
Look.
Just don't cause any problems before the trial.
Wait until the trial tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, all right. And then we'll rehuddle?
Well, we should probably do it before the trial starts. That Nomon can do it during the trial, because we're probably going to have to leave pretty quickly after the trial.
Not during the trial. Please, not during the trial. Can you just imagine the middle of the trial and all of a sudden some goat man goes, "Arr!" And like everyone looks and there's Nomon with a goat under each arm, like running away. Like it could just be devastating to our integrity here. Please wait until...
How much could they really blame a gnome for doing gnome things?
How much could they blame us? They're blaming us for our ancestors' sins already. So if they're gonna, they'll probably blame us for whatever he does too. I'm just saying, these are some judgmental aspects.
We have no blood relation to Nomon of any kind.
Do you think that's gonna stop it for these people? We're all in this together.
If not, then we can rely on the fire safety plan.
I'm gonna go over by the fountain now, and I leave.
All right.
And as that conversation comes to an end, I think we will take our first break here, and we'll come back and see what befalls our intrepid adventurers on the other side.